Try this physical challenge right now. If you stand up, put your heels, your back, and your head perfectly flat against a wall, and then bend forward from your waist to try and touch your toes, you'll fall flat on your face. Every single time. You literally cannot do it without toppling over. But why?
This seemingly simple physical task is an absolutely perfect real-life demonstration of a fundamental law of physics. I mean, your brain wants to do it, your muscles are trying their hardest to do it, but physics just says, nope, absolutely not. Today we're going to unpack exactly why you fall over when you try this and how the physical world dictates what stays up and what crashes down. By the end of this explainer, you're going to master the 3 types of equilibrium, the mathematical formula for balance, and how to apply these exact concepts in real life. So let's just dive right in.
Section 1. 3 types of equilibrium. From simple balance to technical torque.
So to figure out why you can't beat that wall challenge, we first need to look at 3 specific states of balance. Let's kick things off with the most forgiving state, stable equilibrium. The technical definition here is a system that, when displaced, experiences a net force or torque in a direction opposite to that displacement. Honestly, just think of it as a built-in restoring force. If you push the object, physics creates this counterforce that wants to pull it right back to safety, back to exactly where it started. And this image right here brilliantly illustrates the difference. Look at the marble sitting at the bottom of the bowl on the left. If you push it slightly up that curved side, gravity kicks in and pulls it right back down to the bottom, right? That is a stable, restoring force in action. But then, look at the right side, unstable equilibrium. This is like a ball resting precisely at the peak of a steep hill. It's technically balanced, sure, it's sitting totally still, but it's incredibly fragile.
So I want you to visualize this for a second. What happens if you slightly nudge that ball on top of the hill? Well, it doesn't roll back to the top, right? In an unstable equilibrium, the physical force pushes it in the exact same direction as your nudge. It just accelerates away from its center, rolling faster and faster down the hill.
Okay, that brings us to our 3rd type, neutral equilibrium. This is a state where a system's equilibrium is completely independent of any displacements from its original position. A super simple, everyday example of this is just a marble sitting on a perfectly flat horizontal floor. If you push it, it rolls a bit, and then it just stops in a new spot. It doesn't try to go back, and it certainly doesn't accelerate away down a slope. It's just perfectly happy and balanced wherever it happens to end up.
Section 2. The center of gravity. Why the pencil falls.
To see how all this builds into something a bit more complex, we need to look at how the specific center interacts with rotational forces. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding the center of gravity, which we usually just abbreviate as CG. This is basically the magical point on any object where the torque of its total weight is exactly 0. Imagine balancing a toy doll perfectly on the palm of your hand. The doll's arms, its legs, its head, they all have their own individual weight pulling down. But the center of gravity? That's the exact point directly over your hand where all those individual pulling forces, those torques, perfectly cancel each other out.
Let's trace the step-by-step logic of this using something right on your desk like a pencil. Step 1. Imagine a pencil perfectly balanced vertically on its flat eraser. Step 2. You nudge it slightly to the right. Step 3. Because it's still mostly upright, its weight creates a restoring clockwise torque that tries to pull it back flat onto the eraser. That's our good old stable equilibrium. But Step 4. If you push it literally a millimeter too far, the center of gravity moves past the edge of the eraser. Suddenly, the torque completely flips. It becomes a counterclockwise force pulling in the exact same direction as your push. And Step 5. The pencil falls. It has violently entered unstable equilibrium.
Now you might be asking a really great question right about now. Why exactly does the pencil fall at that specific millimeter mark instead of just returning to center? Like, what was the invisible line it actually crossed? Well, the answer lies in its base of support. You see, the pencil falls the exact instant its center of gravity moves completely outside the vertical footprint of its base, which, in this case, is the eraser. Once the center of gravity is no longer supported directly from underneath, gravity takes the wheel and down it goes.
Section 3. Real-life application. Humans versus chickens.
Let's bring this out of the theoretical realm and see how different living bodies actually manage their center of gravity in the real world. What's really honestly fascinating about human anatomy is how precarious it actually is. Your center of gravity as an adult is surprisingly high. It sits just above your hip joints. And your base of support? Actually, think about it. It's just 2 narrow, relatively short feet. Because our feet aren't very long front to back, Any small displacement pushes our high center of gravity dangerously close to the edge of our base. You probably don't even realize it, but you are constantly, subconsciously making dozens of tiny muscle movements just to keep yourself standing upright. We are literally inherently unstable.
Now compare that to a chicken. A chicken's center of gravity lies entirely below its hip joints, suspended directly between two widely separated, relatively large feet. It basically acts like a highly stable pendulum hanging beneath its hips. If you were to give a chicken a fairly large shove, not that I'm recommending shoving chickens, but if you did, its center of gravity naturally swings right back into a safe resting position with almost zero muscular effort required on the chicken's part. So humans, we're top-heavy pencils balancing on erasers. Chickens, they are sturdy, self-correcting pendulums.
Wait, this is actually really important. We obviously can't change our biology, but we do constantly adjust our physical orientation. Think about it for a second. How can humans artificially increase their stability to mimic the solid balance of a chicken when they need to? Consider the two variables we literally just talked about, the position of the center of gravity and the size of the base of support. Well, here are the ultimate biological stability hacks. First, spread your feet apart. This instantly widens your base of support, meaning your center of gravity has to be displaced much, much further before it falls outside that safe footprint. Second, bend your knees. This drastically lowers your overall center of gravity closer to the ground. This is exactly why a football player preparing to brace for a heavy tackle drops low and gets into a really wide stance. They're consciously using physics to transform their body from an unstable pencil into a highly stable pyramid. And hey, by the way, this perfectly explains that wall challenge from the very beginning. When your heels and back are locked flat against the wall, bending forward at the waist instantly pushes your center of gravity out over your toes. But because the wall prevents you from shifting your hips backward to compensate, your center of gravity moves entirely outside your narrow base of support. The torque flips, and bam, you fall. Physics wins every time.
Section 4. Designing for stability. Engineering the real world.
So let's zoom out from biology for a minute. These exact same physics principles don't just apply to our bodies, they literally govern the entire structural and architectural world around us. Whether you're looking at a chicken, a linebacker, or a massive steel suspension bridge, you are looking at the exact same golden rule of equilibrium. For a complex system to remain perfectly stable, two fundamental things absolutely must be mathematically true. First, the net external force must equal zero. Every upward push has to be countered by an equal downward pull. And second, the net torque must equal zero. Every rotational force pulling clockwise must be perfectly balanced by a counter-rotational force pulling counterclockwise. If architects ignore even a fraction of these two rules, bridges sway too far, their center of gravity shifts past their base, and the whole thing collapses.
All right, let's wrap this up with a quick, practical summary of the key takeaways you'll definitely want to capture for your notes. 1. There are three main types of equilibrium: stable, unstable, and neutral. 2. Stable systems rely entirely on restoring forces to pull displaced objects back to their safe center. And 3. The golden rule of staying upright, whether you're a human trying to touch your toes or a skyscraper resisting hurricane winds, is to always, always keep your center of gravity directly over your base of support.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty fascinating question to think about. We now know how a pencil stays upright on a desk, and we know why widening your stance keeps you from falling over on the football field. But how do modern engineers use these exact mathematical rules of torque and equilibrium to build a 100-story skyscraper that can literally sway back and forth during a massive, violent earthquake without its center of gravity ever toppling over its base? Well, we'll dive right into the incredible engineering hacks behind that in our next explainer. Until then, keep analyzing